team.
What is up, you guys?
Oh my God. Hey, Dillon, it's so great to have you on our show, The Edge, the Dom Megan Randall show in New Zealand. First of all, how has life changed for you since this show dropped on Netflix?
My life has been completely overwhelming. So many people have been reaching out, and, my life has been put on blast, kind of, and so many people are, interested in what I'm doing and, the things I've been through, and so different than what I'm used to.
Do you get worried about fan mail? I've seen many documentaries about people who go to jail and then get fans and turned out to be husbands, wives, lovers, that they, people get obsessed with them. Are you worried about people straying his eye away?
I'm not really worried about that. I know Joe loves me unconditionally, and, I absolutely adore him. And I wouldn't let anybody's fan mail, if someone wants to write me a letter, they're not going to win my heart over that.
Yeah.
And I know it's reciprocated just the same in his eyes.
Yeah, Meg, I think Joe, exotic in his jail cell, would have more to worry about. Dillon's he's an attractive young gay man, and he's got his freedom. No doubt you've had tons of thirsty dudes sliding into your DMs, Dillon.
Thousands, yeah.
Thousands.
Wow. A lot, but just because the guy is going to call me hot through an instant message isn't going to change the way I feel. You know what I mean?
But so your husband is in jail, for 22 years. Unless that situation changes, let's say Joe isn't there for 22 years. Realistically, you think you can, just wait for Joe to get out and then continue your marriage?
Where I'm at right now, I'm not specifically looking for anybody to fill that void of him being gone. But we've had the conversation that if it comes to the point to where I meet somebody and they're super special to me, then Joe would be super supportive of me moving on. But even in that case, if I did find somebody, it's not like I would just drop Joe. I'm still going to be in contact with him,
for life.
Do my thing, and we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page when it comes to that, and I'm not going anywhere.
So what's your relationship like now? Because it must be very, very difficult to have a relationship with someone that's incarcerated. Do you go and visit him on a regular basis? Is it just phone calls?
We speak 3 to 5 times a day.
Wow.
But recently he's been moved to a new facility in Fort Worth, Texas. And, they are allowed to have conjugal visits, so I do plan on going to see him once he gets out of his little isolation period.
Those phone calls must be exhausting for you because, you're a young man, you're on the outside. His life is very, very small at the moment. Are they exhausting for you, emotionally draining?
The first couple months, they were completely emotionally draining. It definitely took a toll on our relationship for a little while because he was worried about what I was doing, who I was hanging out with, where I was going. He wanted to keep track of exactly what I was doing. But eventually it got to the point to where his trust grew even more. And by having, the 5 phone calls a day, he can keep track and keep updated with the things I'm doing and who I'm with.
And what are the details, Dillon, around your husband, Joe Exotic's appeal? What are the chances he thinks he's going to get out, and what's the ideal situation here if he wins?
An appeal could take up to a year and more. Really trying to build a very strong case as of right now.
Did I hear correctly? You met on Grindr? You met on Grindr and then met up at a bar?
Yeah.
Was it an instant sort of attraction? There's quite a big age gap, you know what I mean?
So it wasn't more of an attraction kind of relationship. It was more of a companionship. He needed somebody, and I was in a bad place, and he brought me out of my depression and my loneliness, and he made me feel wanted, and being around the baby animals and taking care of them all day, every day, gave me a purpose to feel like I was doing something right in life. And that's what my focus was. And, Joe would come home in the middle of the day, after his tours at the zoo, and we would just talk, and, I grew to love him. We got married before we were in love. And
tell me about that, Dillon. Was it 6 days from meeting to marriage, or was it 6 days from meeting to engaged?
6 days from meeting to engaged.
Right.
But we didn't get married until after a couple of weeks, yeah.
Right. And something that they talk about in the Tiger King TV series is Prince Albert with a padlock hanging off the end. That must have been mind blowing when you first saw his genitals.
Never heard of it.
I thought it was definitely different. I wasn't turned off by it, but I was if we're gonna do anything, you got to take that thing out.
Yeah. Because I think on the show he has different size padlocks that he can mix and match.
Does he? Is that?
People are like, oh, he put padlocks padlocks on it. And I'm like, dude, it's not like it was like a locker padlock. It was like a little itty bitty padlock. Not like his thing was itty bitty, all right. But the padlock was not very big. Okay.
Carol Baskin, she did it right. she fed the old husband to the tiger.
We all think she did it.
You know, I honestly, I don't know. I've never met Carol Baskin, but what I can say is that they really need to look in that damn septic tank.
Yeah.
Come on.